Welcome to Stitches in Time, the podcast discussing Doctor Who the way it was meant to be watched, in chronological order, one clip at a time, starting at the Big Bang and ending with the heat death of the universe. I'm Becca, the Matrix Archivist, and I spent the last 12 years of my life meticulously editing the entire televised Doctor Who universe into chronological order.
And I'm Mandy, and I don't know how the BBC got footage of me sitting in my freezing cold office.
Mandy, are you like a moo-moo? Do you like bundle yourself up in the cold like that?
I have a big blanket, and I will just wander around. I'll go through my boss's place. Like, if he doesn't like it, if he finds it unprofessional, he can turn it up. He can turn the temperature up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Until then, I'm gonna huddle up under my blankie.
As is your right, as an American, as an employee, as a human being.
Especially like the middle of summer, I'm going to the office. It's 100 degrees outside, so I'm dressed for that. And then I go into a place and it's 50 degrees inside.
That's horrible. This is why you should work from home.
Yeah.
And also joining us is, once again, a wonderful writer and big Doctor Who nerd.
And will not leave. Apparently is here again. We don't know how he got access to the Zoom recording.
I was invited.
This is time travel consultant, once again, Dan Peck.
Hello. Yeah, today we're talking, the clip we're watching is me in college in upstate New York.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, those upstate New York winters are no joke.
Yeah, my senior year, it snowed October 1st, and I'm talking snow, not flurries. I'm not going to say where I went because I don't want them tracking me down and asking me for money, but
fair.
It was somewhere cold.
Yeah. Most universities listen to this podcast, you know. Most alumni organizations.
They're like, how do we get him?
That's got to be what they're spending their alumni money on because they're not using it for, things for the students or anything.
I think my school is about to close down. They're supposed to get funding and get folded into another place, and apparently that deal fell through because they took a look at them and was like, no, we don't want any part of this. Wow. So it's probably going to go out of business soon.
It's not something you think about colleges doing, but like it definitely happens.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to make a suggestion and a pitch. We pool our money and we pull an accepted and we buy Mandy's college and have the best summer of our lives.
We can do a bad cover of a Ramones song.
That's the dream right there. Today we're talking about The Hand of Fear. Tom Baker era episode, but just the first, checks notes, 3.5 minutes.
The best part about this is that I never got to see Tom Baker once. I didn't have to look at that horrible man's face. He was not in this. He was not part of this. I did not know until you literally said it just now that Tom Baker was supposed to be here. And it was better for it.
Yeah, Mandy hates Tom Baker with a passion. Just his face, I think?
His face. Mostly his face.
Great.
Looking at him and knowing he's real.
Knowing he could be anywhere.
Knowing God allowed this to happen.
They let that man go out there and do things.
Dan, how do you feel about Tom Baker? As
face-wise?
Face-wise or any otherwise.
I mean, I don't have a problem with his face. I mean, I could see taking umbrage with it, but I personally don't. But no, I mean, he is the face of Doctor Who, kind of. So I guess I'm a little protective of the face.
Does this mean that you and Mandy now have to fight to the death?
Oh no, she'll destroy me. It's not even gonna be a fight. It's just gonna be a beat ass. That's all it's gonna be.
That's fair. So we're looking at this clip on the planet Castria, where a bunch of people are guard dressed like Kenny from South Park.
Yeah, no, it's as if someone said sleeping bags, but make it fashion.
And they're all talking like this.
Central Command to Altitude 6, report. Module status report, immediate technical vault.
Yeah, I can't understand a thing that happens in this. Like, I've seen this episode within the past year also, like,
oh, wow.
like the whole thing, and
yeah.
I have no idea. This is nonsense. This is a sleepover when it's supposed to be lights out and we're all in our sleeping bags and we are just trying to like make each other laugh. That's what this is. It's like, destroy the no.
Yeah, I part of this is because of being a fan of Who in the 60s. I'm just like, is that what the aliens look like, or are they under there? Like, you know, like you never quite know.
Yeah. Well, John C. Reilly's under there based on how they were talking.
Eldrad, the traitor. I can't do a good John C. Reilly. I did watch this clip a couple times over just to get it. And I actually did watch the entire episode, the BBC episode, just to know thine enemy, right?
Just like, because you very graciously put a little summary of what's supposed to be going on, which is the only way that I have any frame of reference as to what's happening. It's like, oh, this guy is getting put to death. And what the guy is getting put to death apparently means is they're on a spaceship and also on a little igloo on a planet, and it's just getting cold, and he's like, hey, I'm really cold. Could you turn the temperature up? And I'm like, no, we're not.
Yeah, so, they set up shop in like an abandoned expo center.
Yeah, this is the thing that is interesting to me, is that they have this guy, Eldrad, who they're like, we have to kill him. What's the easiest way to execute somebody? Well, in our society, it's put them in a spaceship and let it blow up when it's outside the solar system.
I mean, we're kind of doing that the other direction with billionaires right now, though.
That's true. I mean, it should happen. I think we should have a legal system based on it, like the Castrians do, actually. That's a really good point.
We have to be very clear. Spaceships and submarines are perfectly safe for billionaires to get in. More billionaires. It's totally safe. Please get in one. Get in one right now. Just do it. It'll be a great time for you. Everyone will love you and think that you're so cool. Just get into the submarine and go to the bottom of the ocean. It'll be a great time for you. Please.
And you're super invincible. Like, nothing would ever go wrong in your life.
Yeah. Fish are poor. They can't defeat you. That whale doesn't even know what a 401k is.
The other thing is that the reason he's being executed in this episode is because he's destroying the planet, which is totally in line with all the billionaires on yachts. Like, we should just sentence all billionaires to be on yachts, and then some of them sink, maybe some of them don't, but the point is they're not here anymore. They're just out at sea.
It's, it's not enough for your company to be the first one to another planet. You have to be there yourself. So get in that rocket ship,
or else it doesn't count.
It's otherwise it's the person who plants the flag, not you. Sorry.
Exactly. Nobody remembers Buzz Aldrin's name. That's why they just call him Buzz. This is like Ted, I think.
I think you mean Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. The second man on the moon, Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah. And his best friend Woody, yeah.
I really have to say, when it comes to the timeline of things, because that's my bit, I'm trying to come together on how this all fits. And I'm really struggling here. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, it doesn't immediately tie into anything specifically.
Wait, what was the name of the planet?
Castria.
I was like, I remember there was something, and I didn't take the note down. What does Castria remind you of? Castrovalva.
Castrovalva.
The castration vulva has returned.
Great.
Our overarching villain of Doctor Who, the castration vulva.
Yeah. Is that
This
why
is what
all their
this is.
faces look like vulvas in this episode?
Yeah, because we had to wait for it to evolve. We saw the start
Right,
with
the
the
Big Bang. Castrovalva, yeah.
Now, is Castria sort of it trying to be clever? Like when the master is Missy, it's like, oh, if you know, you know.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's it's a really good point, Mandy. Well tied into the lore of Stitches in Time.
And it's similar to Missy of when she has her plans when she's doing her own castration vulva, and she's just kind of like in the background of episodes, and you don't entirely know what she's doing. And that's what's happening here. They're just giving us little teases before we get.
When you say Missy's doing her own castration vulva, is that just regenerating into Sasha Dawan then? Like, is that what that is?
Yeah,
Great.
her evil plan.
Oh no, I broke Dan.
Nothing could break me at this point. Can't break
You're
what's
like,
broken.
I need someone who can dance better.
Well, okay. Now, anytime any Time Lord regenerates into a different gender, we have to call it castration vulva.
Oh, I was just using this as a metaphor for evil schemes. In the Doctor Who universe, that's what it's called when someone has evil schemes.
Oh, good. For a second, I thought we were gonna talk about castration vulvas for another 30 minutes.
I can.
I know you can. We established this in the first episode.
I'm just gonna mute
I
my
feel like
mic.
The point of the series ever since has been Becca desperately trying to avoid letting me do that again.
It's true. And you know what? I should have known that it was going to come back when I mentioned the planet Castria. Yeah, there's a lot of nonsense going on. There's also, it's very confusing in this clip because there are two people that both of whom you can't see their faces because they're wrapped up in space blankets. And you hear two people talking, and you can never tell which one of them is talking at any given point. And then it turns out one of them is dead, and like I guess the other guy is talking to him over the intercom or whatever. It's just, I think that's one of the things that's like extremely confusing. And then they're clearly on the planet, but then they keep cutting back to the spaceship. And it's like, I don't know if we need to see the spaceship more than once. Like, it's weird.
And plus, I didn't fear a single hand that I saw.
I didn't even see a single hand.
No.
There was that one that was like touching the controls. Is that a hand? I don't know.
Do we think that these aliens, are they from the regular timeline or the squash butterfly lizard timeline? Because we haven't seen their faces. We have no way of knowing.
That's true. I have to imagine that if the squash butterfly lizard people put those things on their heads, their like antennas would get all like mushed down, and that wouldn't be good for anyone. So that's why I'm
It'd
assuming
be very
it's
uncomfortable.
the regular timeline.
If anything, there are caterpillar people inside of there, and they are currently in their cocoon phase.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Another bug one. You're 3 for 3, Dan. I'm starting to think that Dan is putting all the bugs into Doctor Who.
I mean, I've been blamed for a lot of things, so go ahead. It's fine.
Dan,
Yeah.
It's all me.
off mic, we've talked a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh! Are you secretly Weevil Underwood? You have to tell us.
Oh,
I'm pretty
God,
sure.
no. Ugh. Nah. Fire burn deck was my go-to.
Okay, gotcha.
Or spellcasters.
Go.
I'll tell the story. We're all tangents. My very first professional paid writing gig was for a Yu-Gi-Oh book that I'd been writing for the website, and they published the book, and I got paid $50 per article.
Ooh.
It's amazing.
I should really add that to my intros going forward, you know.
Yeah.
Writer, nomination, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Author, yeah.
I would love if you did put that in of like along with Family Guy and everything else, and like Yu-Gi-Oh! Very small font fan book.
I mean, it's my only published book, so yeah, novelist, journalist. That's more of a journalism. Yeah, I was a Yu-Gi-Oh journalist. I was there on the front lines when it happened, reporting to you live.
You were on Maximilian Pegasus's island, like taking notes.
I did go to not to compete, but just as an attendee. I did go to the 2003 World Championship at Madison Square Garden, which was great. And then the following year, I moved to Los Angeles, and the 2004 World Championship was in Anaheim, so I went to that one too.
That's awesome. I wrote down in my notes for this episode that it also maybe seems like these aliens are like ice Jawas. Like, we've got desert Jawas. I feel like we gotta get a cold ones in there.
Yeah, like how Pokemon have like regional variants. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
These Pokemon. Did you also have a 3-for-3 on Pokemon episodes here? Is that what this is?
I mean, that's a given when it's me usually, though.
Amazing.
I mean, did we talk? I think we went the entire last episode without talking about Pokemon. Do you want to do like an edit? We'll go back in and put something about Pokemon in the previous episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Man.
Step on a Butterfree.
Oh.
Nice. Yes, I am definitely gonna edit that into that episode. Definitely.
Just in the middle of us talking about the butterfly effect.
Stop changing the timelines.
And if I edit that clip into the previous episode, then how will I? Maybe we'll all end up being lizard people. Oh no.
Who's to say we aren't already lizard people?
My bean, it's been freaked.
That, I guess, is true. We don't have any real way of knowing if this is the timeline that's supposed to exist or not. Does that ever terrify anyone?
I think we're getting pretty clear indications that this is the wrong timeline we're in right now.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
It's like, when you're playing a video game and you get one little glitch, but then you start getting to those invisible walls and there's a lot more. That's where we are. We are nose to the invisible wall right now.
Yeah.
Remember when everyone was like, oh, the world's going to end in 2012? There's a lot of theories that it did. And this is just the slow death.
Oh my god.
The universe also decided that the most efficient way to kill us was to put us on a spaceship and hurtle us away out of the solar system.
Right now, you are being the manned of fear.
There's also a moment. So there's a moment in this clip. I can't destroy him yet because there's still a 1 in 3 million chance that he might survive.
Computations indicate that at 19 spans, there is still a 1 in 3 million chance of particle survival.
And just like, just kill him. Just do it. What do you? You're gonna die. But maybe that's foreshadowing for something that happens.
He's just not a betting man.
You're bad at probability. You're bad at math.
He just knows the house always wins. So he was like, no.
That's why he was positioned at Ice Station 0. It's like, there's no need for math. You're our executioner. You just have to push a button.
It's so true. Yeah. What, so this is clearly foreshadowing something. Mandy, what do you think is going to happen?
Are you sure you want to ask me that? We already know it's Castria. I believe it's foreshadowing a vulva that castrates.
Great. So glad I asked. Dan, you've seen this episode, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what it foreshadows. I know what it does. This is the prequel to Manos, The Hands of Fate. So we're going to get a Mystery Science Theater 3000 of this clip, which is basically what the three of us are doing anyway.
Yeah, that's
Is
that's
that
true.
a prequel to the movie Teeth?
Yes. That is certainly vulva castration.
And then Teeth is a prequel to Jaws, right?
What is a shark?
The sequel to that is Jawbreaker.
Yeah. Oh my
We're an
gosh.
odd bunch.
We're so weird. I don't know. It's a weird day today.
What is a vulva if not a shark? And what is a shark if not a teenage girl trying to be popular?
That's what I got from West Side Story.
Yeah.
That's why we only get the song about when you're a jet. We don't
Yeah.
really have a when you're a shark song. Because,
When you're a shark, you're going through puberty, and everyone's kind of feels weird, and there are a lot of emotions happening.
I haven't seen the new West Side Story movie, and that's because I can't play the game of which Puerto Ricans were painted orange.
Yeah, that is something you can do in the original, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah. And but like they'll give us one or two. They won't give us all of them.
I'm so sorry, Mandy.
Not surprising anyone when you look at my complexion. I was a jet when I did it in high school.
Yeah. Oh, I had years ago, I had started a new job, and someone was asking me about my last name and where it was from. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's my dad's from Puerto Rico," and she looks at me, and I clarify like, "Oh, my mom's white, my dad's Puerto Rican." She immediately goes, "Oh, I love West Side Story," and I say, "Great, that's not how it happened. There were 0 dance fights involved in my conception."
How do you really know, though, Mandy? If there were dance fights involved in your conception, do you really think anyone would have told you about it?
Yeah, fairness.
Would you want to
But-
be told?
But now, anytime a white person tells me about their parents, I go, "Oh, I love Grease."
It's really good. Tell me more. Like, does he have a car? Or...
I was also in Greece.
Very nice. I wasn't in
Were
either
you
of
also
those.
white in Grease?
I was.
Oh,
You know what? I may have done Grease right after West Side Story now too. I would have to look it up, but I may have done it that summer.
That's amazing.
I was a cool theater kid. No, I wasn't. I was a theater
That's
kid.
an oxymoron.
I was an uncool theater kid, by which I mean I was uncool even on the spectrum of theater kid coolness. I was on the less cool side.
Yeah, Dan, did you get the thing of being the straight guy in theater, and so you're automatically hotter than by any rights you should be because you're the straight guy in theater?
No, there were a lot of straight guys, so they were all hotter than I was.
But have you checked back on them and see how many of them
Yeah.
are still straight?
Yeah, no, they still are, yeah.
I mean, so I mentioned on a previous episode that I was bullied and that's why I became a theater kid. That's not entirely true. I think I got bullied more by other theater kids than I did anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's where I, just to give you a sense of where I was on the totem pole in my high school
no.
theater. I was like, oh yeah, weird kid. But also didn't know I was trans, so made a lot of weird choices back then. Like, be a boy.
It's a bad choice.
It's a bad idea. Dan, transition.
I mean, if in my heart that were the case.
This gay agenda is really not taking off.
Yeah, you keep trying to get me with your ways.
Yeah, Becca, we've been over this. You have to convert at least 3 people, and that's when you get to diamond level, and you start getting bonuses for everyone in your downline.
It's an upside down triangle scheme. I'm really sorry. That's not cool.
Well, at least I'm not the only one on this podcast who's about to get canceled.
Edit point.
And Mandy is on top. Mandy, who's never said anything wrong. Now let's go back to the castration board.
Oh my god.
the person who made it so we were a little on the fence about whether this was going to be an all ages podcast or not, and then I go right out the fence. Episode 1.
It's still
that's
all
what do-
ages, but it's just some people are just prudes.
Maybe your babies are cool.
I really hate all those prudish 6-year-olds. They're the worst.
Heavens, can you believe what they were saying on this show?
I mean, I would have been like that when I was 7 and we moved to Florida, and I met the neighbor girl, and she said butt, and I gasped because I was only allowed to say bum. I was like, no, that's a bad word. We say bum. And then my parents had to allow me to start saying butt because they knew I was going to get immediately bullied if I tried to enforce that rule.
That's so funny.
Look,
that girl sounds like a real cunt.
Oh, she was. Fucking Stacy. She's a horrible person. And she has children now, and when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's going to be a bad time. I feel real bad for her children because she was a fucking bitch.
It's so funny. I'm 41 and change, and I still am like super hesitant to curse in front of my parents. It's just, I do it very sparingly, but even still, it's only like a handful of years like where that's been the case. It's just like, I don't know why I'm so weird about that. I mean, I'm weird about a lot of things, but I don't know why I'm weird about that.
Yeah, my parents always, the way that they would kind of say, because they cursed a lot, but we weren't allowed to curse, which is hypocritical, but the hypocrisy was, well, when you're living in your own place, you can curse as much as you want. And now I live in my own place, and I can curse as much as I want.
I mean, I grew up in New Jersey. Like, the fact that cursing was not allowed in the household, but everywhere else was like, why?
Yeah.
You're
making me live one hand tied behind my back. How am I supposed to express myself?
Your house
using
was
words?
the one place in all of New Jersey that like nobody swore.
Except my dad when he was building the grill, and we were not allowed outside because of the new words my mom was afraid we were going to learn.
Oh my goodness.
True story.
That's adorable. I've got a question that's relevant to the episode. What's the coldest you've ever been?
Incredibly.
Great story.
When I was in college in upstate New York, my senior year, I lived in there were apartments that had been previously off campus, but the college bought, so it was on campus living. And during fall break, the pipes froze and basically like exploded in the place. So we had to move our stuff out and back into a dorm. So that was probably around the coldest. It was either that or a night that I was in my friend's student film that I got like completely roped into being the lead without even being asked, and I like had to lie down on the ground and hold a flask which I was filling with hot water to keep my hands warm.
Nice.
There were a lot of cold nights in college, and take that every way because it's true.
Aww. Somebody love Dan. Somebody out there.
It's less desperate when someone else says it, so just keep saying it. Just put it out.
Dan's great. We love Dan.
Thank you.
It's going to be our new segment after you're gone. Someone love Dan. That's just our ad spot. It just, hey, somebody out there, love Dan.
You're going to have to release this as a video clip because I can see how red I'm turning on the video right now.
That's great. Mandy, what's the coldest you've ever been?
So I used to be a Girl Scout, and one of the things in the Girl Scouts is that they do camping. And one of the things that you can get a badge for is camping in every season, including winter. Now, granted, this was Florida. It was a winter in Florida, so none of us were going to die. But it's still winter in Florida. The weather can get to 30 degrees, and when you're 7, that's the coldest you could ever think of being.
That's fair.
We used to did Truth or Dare, and the Truth or Dare was like, oh, take your clothes off. But the taking your clothes off is because instead of just like changing our clothes the entire time, we just wore all of our clothes bundled up. And so it was like, take off the first layer of sweatpants that you have on.
Yeah, strip poker's an all-night thing.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the coldest I've ever been, and Dan, I think you actually you triggered a memory in my mind, because I was also in a student film. I went to school in Ohio, and like we had this assignment to make like just these 1 minute long movies, so it had to like be a pretty condensed story. And the idea he had was, it was a superhero living his day-to-day life, and then like he hears the call for trouble, and he like takes off like his clothes to reveal the uniform under it, but he forgot to put the uniform on. That was like the whole gag. And this was back when I was a boy, so I ended up playing that part, and I was just like standing in my boxers in Ohio in February, like just freezing my ass off. It was insane. It was a bad time. And
this, kids, is why you don't become a professional actor.
That's true. Be a writer.
So just say no to acting.
If someone offers you an acting job, just
not even once.
There's so many things you can do instead of acting, including loving Dan. Ask your doctor if loving Dan is right for you. Use offer code Stitches in Time at checkout.
The thing about acting is that it's always the wrong temperature. Like, I guarantee that on the set of this clip, it was like boiling. And then they're like, all right, get into these super hot, like, comforter things. Just like, no, that's the worst. And then like when it's like, oh yeah, you have to be like outside on a warm day, and it's like, oh yeah, it's 40 degrees right now, but you know, pretend that you are it's just t-shirt and shorts weather.
When I was working on a show at the Fox lot, the show Bones was filming, and they had set up lots of fake snow because they were filming. I don't think it was specifically a Christmas episode, but it was definitely like October-ish, and it's still pretty warm in October in LA. So it was one of those, like, my brain is not like functioning right now because I'm seeing something that is wholly incorrect. But it was also like, oh, hey, it's nice to see snow and not have to shovel it myself. So. That I realized was also among other times I was at my coldest, when it would snow and my dad would say, go shovel the driveway. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, that was the worst. I had to do that too. Do you have anything else for this clip? Any other thoughts, comments? It's a pretty nonsensical clip. It's our longest clip that we've talked about with you yet, Dan, but it's also one.
It did not help you get any more content or things to talk about. And this tends to be a thing of, usually our longer clips tend to be classic episodes, but that's just because they were bad at pacing.
That is true. They're a lot better.
So it's almost always
now.
like they're just standing there, not really saying much or doing anything that was worth talking about.
That's just what TV was back then, though. It's like, I don't want to be like, oh, well, actually, but it really is. Like, just everything was just so slow on TV.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like humor in general has just, like, become faster only because of, like, how we consume it.
Yeah, the instant gratification of, like, reading a tweet.
Right. Because, like, I went back and, like, I watched, like, you know, old Mel Brooks movies and stuff, and there are definitely, like, very theatrical seeming pauses, and you realize, oh, that's so that the people in the theater can, like, have a laugh break, because they have to, like, build that into the film because they're not performing it live. And, like, I don't know, I feel like
there is a certain point at which they learn, oh, we don't actually need to do that for a show.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't need to do it like it's theater.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, this is, I mean, back in the times when, like, you didn't have a rewind button on every remote. It was just like, yeah, we gotta explain this a couple times in case somebody wasn't paying attention.
Even if they do explain it a few times, still don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah. They might explain whatever is happening in this episode at some point. But
there's
no.
also just to some extent an amount of you need to fill stuff versus nowadays it is a matter of you're trying to pack everything into minimal episodes because you only have an 8-episode run. You need to fit an entire story. There's no room for filler. There's no room for a pause. You need to pack everything that you possibly want because there's also no guarantee that you will ever get anything more than what you were handed now.
Right.
Versus this was a thing of like, hey, we need to do an extra episode. What if they go back through the forest? Oh, they made it, and now they got to go to where they were. So let's go through the forest again and make that and be another episode.
Right. Yeah.
22 episodes was too long. 8 is too short. We got to get to like 15. I think that'll be like the happy medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading that originally the Hand of Fear it's a 4-part story. It was originally pitched as a 6-part story. I did watch the entire thing, and I'm like, it's good. I don't know if they could have dragged this out for another 2 episodes though.
We probably would have just made this bit an entire episode.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's building walls to keep the cold out. That's what they're talking about. It was like, oh yeah, he like destroyed the walls that were keeping the cold weather out of the place where we live. That's not.
But it does prove though that the Snuggie has existed since 150 million BC.
True. Fashion icon.
Hey, remember Snuggies? Those were a thing for a bit.
They were. Whatever happened to Snuggies?
You could probably get them at like the dollar store now.
Yeah, they probably still exist. I don't know why.
It's like razor scooters used to be $100 when they were new. Now they're like $20.
That's true. Yeah, I remember seeing ads for those. I was like, I want one so bad. And then I got one and I was like, this is awesome.
I had a knockoff one.
Yeah? Oh, that's Jersey for you. Everything's a knockoff.
I had one, but we didn't have sidewalks where like in our cul-de-sac area, and we didn't like it was not a smooth road by any means. So they were awful to be on. And you're like, oh, this is a bad time to be on like a very bumpy road and no kind of sidewalk.
I had mine freshman year at that college where it was cold, which the college was built into the side of a hill. So it was really only good one direction, but I was very fast.
My college was also on a hill. I had to climb up that fucking hill every day. Mm-hmm. Usually 2 or 3 times a day because like everything was on top of the hill except like the arts quad was down. So I was like taking a lot of theater and music and film classes, and I was like, I gotta trudge up this hill.
Yeah, thankfully the communications building was low on the hill, but the good dining hall was way up there. So my friends and I had not only like a route that we would take to get there where it was as few like inclines, it was also as inside as much as possible. It was like go across through this building, step outside into the music building, take the elevator up there, take the walkway. It was like we had this route every night. I
had one of those too. I was taking it was like you go into the math building and then take the elevator down to the parking lot where you can go across and like up into the student center and then like take a covered walkway because it was like I don't want to walk in the rain. Fuck it, if I don't have to.
All of us who grew up playing a Zelda game knows how to navigate a dungeon like that. So
yeah, exactly.
We knew what we were doing.
Dan Peck, thank you so much for being on Stitches in Time.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
What can you tell us? I know Good Chaotic is still in creation phase and recording phase, but what can you tell us about the show and what's it going to be?
Yeah, it's a brand new actual play that we're doing. It's the team from the Game of Rassilon. Hey, you both have been on that show.
That's true.
Yeah,
and we're it's an original sci-fi story. We're going to be using the Scum and Villainy game system, and it's about a group of adventurers, essentially, who are from the end of the universe, and basically they have to take on missions to help there continue to be life in the universe. Everyone is kind of huddled around the last star in the universe, and this is the team that gets the shit done that needs to get done.
That sounds great. I'm so excited for it. Can't wait to see what you guys pull off. Cool. Thanks for being, and just one more time, where can people find you if they want to follow you on things?
That would be at Doonpook on the socials media, DOONPOOK. What was the term for it? Ooglification?
Ooglification, yeah.
Yes, I learned something.
And once again, if you are interested in loving Dan Peck, please send your email to joebiden@comcast.net.
Join us next week, listeners, when we're going to be talking about Peter Davison episode Time Flight. We'll see you then. Bye.
Whoa.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Stitches in Time. Music by Becca the Matrix Archivist. Art by Mandy Akendo. Logo by Ben Padden. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky at Who Stitched.
Heads up, Ben has to grab some stuff. They're about to head out.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben. I know you can't hear us, but hi.
Be loud for a minute. Sorry, everyone.
So I'll just be quiet. I will not say things if you want to keep being part of the conversation.
Eldrad, the traitor, destroyer of the barriers, sentenced to obliteration.
In the time that it took to have this conversation, one plane went away and another one came.
Oh, Jesus. It's okay. Soon I'll be moving closer to Ben and Mandy, so that we'll have to pause for all the same planes.
Okay. Did you find like an actual? Are you like confirming a place? Or you?
I'm waiting for the application to go through. So
like where? How much closer?
I'm like right next.
Okay. Well, now that we've officially doxed Becca.
Carry out new orders. Affirmative.
And once again, if you are interested in loving Dan Peck, please send your email to joebiden@comcast.net. Once again, that is joebiden@comcast.net. To having a take where I don't laugh in the middle to ruin the joke.
I mean, I love hearing you laugh. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is.
I realize whenever you do a cut and it was like, oh, that would have been a better bit if I hadn't A, been interrupting somebody else in the middle of it, and B, had actually been able to do it with a straight face.